So several months ago I decided I would begin video recording my exploration of the historical and conflict gaming pastimes, whether hex encounter or miniatures or computer. So this is another chapter in that ongoing documentary. This is I'm thinking of playing this game right here, Battlefield Europe. 15 battle scenarios, wargaming, hypothetical conflicts in the 1990s, post-Cold War. This is part of the first battle series, published by GDW, designed by Frank Chadwick. Yes, Battlefield Europe. So it comes with four 11 by 17 inch game maps, representative European terrain, 700 die cut counters. It says 700 die cut counters on the back of the box, but I'm looking at the information counters, which, by the way, whoa, I don't think, no, this would never pass today, but this is from 1990. All of these information counters are nothing but small black text on gray chits. So wow. So we have firing position. Yeah, evocative of absolutely nothing, but firing position, smoke. Yeah, smoke. Mine, trench, destroyed, damaged, but I'm surprised this doesn't seem to be a lot of information markers at all. Armor detonated, burst, yeah, so I'm really wondering whether this is going to be enough information counters to play the game, but the back of the box it says 700 die cut counters. Basic 4-page rule book. That is true. That is absolutely true. You can get started playing with nothing but this, 4 sheets right here, and that's what we will do actually. I'm thinking that I'll just start first turn or two, just going through the basic rules here, but I've played the first battle series just enough. I think I've played Sands of War the most, but I've played this series just enough to know that when I pick up a first battle game, I know I'm going to want to play with all the rules. The basic rules for any of the games in this series are really just too simple. They really are just move and shoot. And to get some feel of the modern fighting, you have to add the other rules that add rules for morale and cohesion and special armaments and special capabilities that represent modern warfare. Battle manual. Great battle manual. Nice. What is this? Very nice. Very, very nice. Bound. Probably glue bound. We're talking, over 60 pages. What's most, people have emphasized, there's a lot of historical background or setting. I guess setting. And there's order of battle information, which is all great. There's even, I think there's a tactics section, I think. But anyways, an article on tank versus anti-tank evolution. Yeah, there's a tactics. All that's fine, but really, what I'm, it's the advanced rules tucked in here, starting on page 22. are the advanced rules. So we're talking about spotting, pretty much essential, I think, to get the full gaming experience. Limited visibility, essential. Reaction movement, we will definitely be playing with reaction movement. Command and control, we'll definitely be playing with command and control. Morale, yes. Cohesion, yes. Limited missile ammo, absolutely. Entrenchments, yes. Mines, yes. Artillery for sure. Smoke for sure. Air units, I mean, if they're in the scenario, absolutely. Helicopters, air-to-air combat, all of that, definitely. So, and then it goes into designing your own scenarios. I have picked a scenario from the scenario books, but all of those, you know, advanced rules are really, they're really important rules to play with, and I will be playing with them. So after a turn or two of going through and playing with the basic rules, we'll definitely step up and add all of the advanced rules at once for that gaming experience. So that is the very nice battle manual. But remember, in the battle manual are your advanced rules that you want to play with. Oh, I already mentioned the maps, but I'll say again. I guess some gamers might consider these a little dark. I don't consider them dark at all. It's just an overcast day in Europe. No, not for me. As you can see, the red units on the board. Here are some blue units on the board. The red and blue units on these maps, I think the coloring is just fine. I don't have any issues. So we've got a, you know, map 7 with a large urban area. You know, river, three levels of elevation above the base level. A good amount, in my opinion, a good amount of vegetation, because because I'm looking for the rules to emphasize, you know, concealment, cover. We'll see how that works. At map 8 has 2 smaller urban areas, a lake and a lake. Now, just I do not see, you know, I don't see games doing this anymore. It's actually kind of a theme of this thinking of playing video is, you know, I need to remember to get to this in this video. You know, where are games like this today? Anyways, that's the overall theme. Yes, the urban areas are have generic, you know, this is urban area J, urban area I. I have no problem with that at all, but I do understand if gamers do have a problem with that. But I think that what do I think? Well, I appreciate the versatility. You know, I don't want it. I definitely do not want it. This is just my preference. I do not want some made-up name like Jonesville, named after the designer. I don't find that, you know, humorous or anything. This is map 9 with a large mountain that dominates the center of the map, and then it's surrounded by 4 smaller, you know, towns. So I don't go for made-up names at all. And of course, real terrain makes it hard, of course, to make geomorphic maps. So I prefer code names. I don't think of these as what? I don't think of these as variables. I think of these as like code names. So, you know, fighting on this piece of terrain, this urban area, this might be, you know, what? This might be Ottendorf in Germany. but on a map, on a military map, maybe it's circled and it's objective kilo. You know, that's why I don't have a problem with this. I consider these to be, you know, code names, or yeah, code names for reference, right? Understanding, in my mind, I can think of them as, you know, villages and towns in Germany, villages and towns in Czechoslovakia, Poland, Bulgaria, what have you. I don't have a problem with that. Not that I've always thought that. There was a time in my, you know, there was a time when I opened these maps, you know, maps like this, several years ago, and I'm like, oh my, it's like, I can't believe that's, I feel cheated, but not anymore. So bottom line is I appreciate the versatility. So it's a versatility. So this is, you know, again, this is like objective papa. Now it can be, I can see it as a village in anywhere from, you know, Turkey to, you know, Turkey to Norway. Okay. 2 scenario books. Definitely like this. I like this. I think, if I remember correctly, Avalanche Press did something similar with the Rome at War series. 2 separate scenario books, one for each side. So it's nice. Red scenario book, blue scenario book. It goes through. It has the same scenario. Like this first scenario is called Ambush. So you have the scenario from the red perspective and the same scenario from the blue perspective. It's understandable that the little text introduction would be the same, because these are hypothetical conflicts. Although I guess they could have. I guess they could have written introductory text from each side. Yeah, okay. And then we go through the objective. So I'll just look at the red scenario book. We go through the objective, map orientation, objective, initial conditions, scenario length, special rules. This one has attacker fire support, attacker air support, attacker morale, attacker setup, winning, attacker forces. Okay, and then it has obviously your graphic laydown. Always appreciate graphic setups. So in the ambush scenario, the red force is the attacker, represents in this. It represents elements of 1st Battalion, 2nd Mechanized Brigade, Hungarian 1st Corps. Then you go to the same scenario from the blue perspective. Obviously, blue is the defender, and so these elements, these forces represent elements of 3rd Battalion, 33rd Motor Rifle Regiment. The side is Romanian. Yeah, Romanian. So the Romanians are defending, Hungarians are attacking. And let's look at the blue forces in this scenario. And I just chose the first scenario. I'm doing this off the top of my head, so we're doing this off the cuff here. So these are Romanians from the 33rd Motor Rifle Regiment. Oops. Romania. Romania. Oh, okay, the order of battle. Okay, I'm looking at the Romania chapter in the battle book, battle manual, and under the order of battle, but it only goes down to divisions. So, 11th Motorized Rifle Division, there it is. 11th Motorized Rifle Division. Yeah. So the 11th Motor Rifle Division is mentioned in the order of battle in the Romania chapter, which is then mentioned in the scenario. What I'm emphasizing here is that GDW and Frank Chadwick in particular, I would expect their material to be coordinated like that. For whatever reason, you know, rightly or wrongly, these days I have the impression that designers today, producers, they don't always pay such close attention to such details, which produces, when you look closer at games today, you know, discrepancies. Let me look here, and then I'll mention in particular. Yeah, so Hungarian 1st Corps, 1st Combined Arms Corps, made up of 3 tank brigades, 2 motor rifle brigades. Okay, so what I'm referring to is, you know, games today that the unit designations on the counters themselves, you know, on the counters themselves don't even correspond to the scenario setup, which doesn't correspond to whatever historical background is provided. I easily could be over exaggerating that, but just, you know, want the attention to detail, and it seemed like we had that earlier. Anyway, so the scenario I'm thinking of playing is the second one, the Poor Bloody Infantry. That's map 10 set up here. So, anyways, I guess I'll talk about the scenario when I start playing it. But that is the Poor Bloody Infantry from the scenario books. And then counters. Again, we have all the red forces are set up here. Let's take a look at some of them. We've got, and again, for unit value, well, for unit values and stuff, we'll definitely do that when we start playing. But the forces, though, well, let me talk about the blue forces. Huge problem. So you can see the red forces and blue forces. Bottom line is I would have preferred something like the red and blue matte colors from the original SPI Firefight. The bottom line is this bright red. You know, I certainly think communist red when I see these counters. But well, first of all, this is supposed to be post-Cold War, anyways. But also, it just, for me, the red counters don't need to be this red. Basically, they're not matte. They're fairly shiny. Yep, there you go, fairly shiny. So that's red, and then the real problem, though, is, let's take a M113. There's an M113. Oh. Well, actually, I'm glad that the silhouette shows up under the camera, but yeah, what the camera's picking up is pretty close to what you see looking down at the counters on the map. Bottom line is black against a dark blue like this pretty much, you know, really detracts from the play experience, you know, to say the least. So there is that, but I'll play on. The problem is that, you know, this 113 just looks like a blob. I mean, you have to look really, really closely to even possibly distinguish that as a 113 silhouette. Now, go to a Bradley M2, M2A2 Bradley. So again, you gotta look. Okay, I guess I can see a Bradley there, but it's just not distinct enough. I mean, it's not the distinction. It's just the silhouettes disappear into the background, and you know, it's not certainly doesn't kill gameplay at all. I don't think, but it does detract from the enjoyment, and we want a certain amount of that. But otherwise, what I do like is we'll go with a BMP here, BMP1, then we'll go with a basic. Let's go with a basic infantryman. Think things to like. There we go, infantry. So even a basic infantryman, and then all the way up to a BMP1. Yeah, I like all the data on the counters, the information. I mean, look at that BMP1. We're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 basic pieces of data with a few more extra basically indicators on it. A lot of information, and I like that. Really not necessary. I mean, this is only one gaming approach, you know. When I break out MBA again, I mean, MBA has basically just counters with silhouettes. Oh wait, counters with silhouettes and formation indicator. But even formation indicator are very simple. Anyways, yeah, this isn't necessary, but boy, if you're gonna go this design route, it's a lot of fun to see all this data. Another thing to like about the system is that you get a lot, which I guess is what you would expect if you're pulling out a game like this to play. You get a lot of, well, I think it's a lot. Maybe I'm exaggerating that, but to me it's a lot of, you get a lot of specialized units, SA-14, so SA-14, and still not. Medium mortars, AGL, Zoo 30, T80s, T55s, Leopards. Now the interesting thing, of course, if you know the background of this, different combatants, red force, blue force, is that you have the slightly unusual situation where you have like a Leopard 1B on a red counter, for example, and then you have like yeah, you have a BTR 60. You have the unusual situation of a BTR 60 on a blue counter. Of course, you have that because you're representing all these different nationalities with different inventories. So it's perfectly possible to have you know, T80s on one side going up against BTR 60s on the other side. Just interesting. Got like red AMX 10Ps. Might be a lot clearer. Okay, so lots of different toys to play with. Basically, lots of different toys to play with, including air, fixed wing, and rotary wing. Yeah. One thing I don't like is that in this game series, so you got your heavy mortar there. All of these units. So I got a heavy mortar unit there. Come on. Maybe all right. So you have maybe I should be doing that. You have your heavy mortar unit. And all of these units have the concealed on the back. They all say concealed on the back. I don't want to be flipping units like that. So I will probably just I was thinking I'll just take, since I'm playing solitaire, I don't need the dummy units. So I was thinking I'll just take a dummy unit with concealed and put it on the top of the stack. And I'll do this because this is how I would play face to face. I would just put an extra marker flipped over to the concealed side. I would just put that on top of the stack instead of flipping counters all the time. Yep. Alright, so thinking of playing Battlefield Europe. Very simple. In this game we're playing with, this is the type of game to have all your charts and tables on one sheet, one 8.5 by 11 sheet. Because of so I photocopied the first page of the rules that have a summary of reading the counters. I put that on one side of heavy stock paper, and then I photocopied the tables onto the back of the heavy stock paper, put in a document protector, and I have a complete play aid. Yeah, so we'll be looking at that later, but real basic, these are what you get combat charts and tables. You get an off-map artillery table. So you have types, light, field, medium, heavy, and ICMDP. Rate of fire, so you have variable rate of fire. You have die rolls versus AFE and versus soft targets. Terrain effects chart. And line of fire effects. Real basic. What do you got? Clear woods, town, road, trail, bridge hex side, and water hex side. Very simple array of terrain. Artillery patterns. So for HE, okay, so the burst. Where are they? Burst. Now where are they? Okay. Armor detonated. Burst, okay. Alright, so there you have your burst marker there. For artillery aiming point, got multiple rocket launcher and fast cam pattern, heavy artillery ICMDP and smoke. Then you have your combat results table, which is odds based, 1 to 4 up to 5 to 1. 10-sided die results in pinned, destroyed, or damaged. Yeah, destroyed is X, D is damaged, P is pinned. Elevations. Again, we have a ground level 0 and then up 3 levels possible, and morale loss. That is it. Very simple, very straightforward when it comes to tables and charts. And finally, since I have it, I have the Fire and Movement March-April number 72 edition, which features Battlefield Europe on the cover. Pretty cool. Close-up look at the games. I would say a lot on the settings. They go through and they talk about the flashpoints and scenarios, which I'm not going to go into any detail, which is very interesting. So Flashpoint 1 Czechoslovakia, Flashpoint 2 Yugoslavia, Flashpoint 3 Germany, and then underneath, so for example, let's go back to Czechoslovakia. Flashpoint 1 Czechoslovakia has rationale. So example, the cause here is ethnic. The Slovaks want more reform and greater autonomy for their region, which is of considerable size, which is funny considering that Czechoslovakia is separated. As concessions come and go, tensions rise to the boiling point and explode into civil war. Then they have assessment. So this would be like, this is very, very interesting. It says real-world assessment of this flashpoint. So it was assessed at this time. There's probable cause for this to become reality. I don't think civil war would break out on its own in an otherwise peaceful Europe. If there is trouble elsewhere in Central or Eastern Europe, then this scenario for war gains in likelihood and credibility. And then they go through this scenario. Scenario 1, the village, which is in the scenario book. So we have the village, and it talks about a little description of the scenario and assessment of the scenario. Okay, so this is a pretty evenly matched contest, so on and so forth. It is a good scenario to begin with. Germany, nice full page picture of the game setup. Flashpoint 4 Belgium, Flashpoint 5 USSR. So this was I mean, the game came out in 1990, so if you want to know exactly where it is, when this came out, the Cold War was fading very fast. The Soviet Union had not actually dissolved yet, although it was, basically within a year, not knowing exactly when in 1990 the game came out. Without knowing that, I can't say with certainty, but basically within a year of this game coming out, somewhere around a year, Soviet Union dissolved. Flashpoint 6 Romania, Flashpoint 7 Turkey, and there we go. And then we have, pretty cool, is a sample turn, which these are invaluable. Sample turn goes all the way through there, going through each combat. Yeah, so pretty cool. So that's that. So before I wrap this up, basically, the idea is, and I'm breaking this game out not because of any interest in the first battle series, not because of any interest in the game in particular, but I mean the headlines that just keep coming from Ukraine, Syria. From the headlines, I'm wondering again and again. I'm wondering how come, and if it is out there, I've missed it and I need to find it. But my hands are empty when I ask, how come I don't have a good series game? And I don't think that this qualifies. Don't think this qualifies as a good series game. But as an example, why isn't there a good series game that I can pull off the shelf every time I see an interesting headline? Why can't I pull out a good series game? Pull out a good series game, pull out geomorphic maps, lay them out, pull out, unit counters, and unit counters today to represent everything from civilians to guerrillas to suicide bombers, all the way up to U.S., Chinese, and Russian infantry and armor forces. I mean, why can't I pull these out, put them on the map, and fight out these conflicts from the headlines? So thinking this a lot recently, that's why, okay, this is something close, something close. I think throughout the 90s, I imagine, I wasn't into gaming, I wasn't into tabletop gaming, but, I imagine through the 90s you could keep pulling this out, throw the units down on the map and, refight different hypothetical conflicts that were at least suggested by the headlines. I mean, Romania had internal turmoil, Czechoslovakia split, and then there were other potential conflicts, Moldova, Belarus, Baltic states, all sorts of potential conflicts. I think I've laid that out enough for now. But yeah, so it's Battlefield Europe First Battle series. Not too complicated, but I really want to. So before, I have tinkered with this game a few times in the past. That was really like a year and a half ago. I'm pulling it out again. I really want to push the system and see what's under the hood with this game. I think that there are gamers out there who think that the First Battle series is fundamentally flawed in design, and I definitely want to see if I can see what they're talking about. Again, what I'm looking for in games at this scale, is, can anything interestingly be done tactically? I'm not going to say, and I can't say, I'm going to look to see whether this game, reproduces tactics at this level, at this scope, faithfully. I won't even go that far. I'll just say, is it possible to do anything interesting tactically? Or is it really just push my counters up, shoot, and try to destroy the other guy first? Is there anything interesting that can be done tactically? And we'll see. And maybe even that's too much to expect from this series. But we'll see.